Men Are from Mars, Women Are from Venus by John Gray. John Gray is a renowned relationship expert whose groundbreaking work has transformed modern understanding of gender dynamics. His iconic book, Men Are from Mars, Women Are from Venus, provides an essential guide for improving communication and strengthening relationships. Using the powerful metaphor of men and women being from different planets, Gray illuminates why partners often misunderstand each other's needs and behaviors. This book offers practical tools for navigating these differences, helping you bridge the communication gap, avoid unnecessary arguments, and foster deeper intimacy. Its timeless wisdom continues to empower couples worldwide, providing the keys to lasting love and mutual fulfillment by celebrating and working with, rather than against, natural masculine and feminine energies. Introduction. Imagine a time when Martians and Venusians met, fell in love, and enjoyed a beautiful relationship because they respected and celebrated their differences. They came to Earth and forgot they were from different planets, and that is why men and women have conflict today. When the Martian first arrived in his rocket ship, the Venusians welcomed him with open arms, and he felt truly loved and accepted. This is the story of your own relationship's honeymoon phase, where everything seemed easy. But eventually, the differences in language and custom created misunderstandings. You will learn that love is not always constant. It moves in a natural wave, where closeness and distance follow a healthy cycle. Understanding these innate patterns is the first step to stopping the frustration and starting a new chapter of acceptance and lasting love. 1. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. To truly understand each other, you must remember that you originally came from different planets. Martians, men, valued power, competence, and efficiency. Their sense of self was defined through achievement and solving problems. Venusians, women, cherished love, communication, and beauty. Their sense of self was defined through their relationships and feelings. When they met, this was exciting, but on Earth, they forgot their origins. Now, when a woman shares a problem, she is often looking for empathy and understanding, a Venusian gift. But a man, thinking like a Martian, hears a problem that needs fixing and offers solutions, leaving her feeling unheard and him feeling unappreciated. You see this in scorekeeping, where a woman gives 1 point for many small acts of thoughtfulness, while a man believes one big gesture, like buying a car, should score 50 points at once. You also misunderstand his need for the cave, his private mental space to unwind, and his rubber band nature, needing to pull away before he can feel closer again. Remembering your planetary heritage is not an excuse, but the key to giving up judgment and beginning a new practice of acceptance. 2. Mr. Fix-It and the Home Improvement Committee. When a woman shares the troubles of her day, she is often extending an invitation for intimacy and connection, not asking for a solution. But a man, wired like Mr. Fix-It, hears a problem that needs solving. He puts on his armor, analyzes the issue, and offers practical advice. When his solutions are rejected, he feels frustrated and incompetent, thinking, "I can't fix how you feel." Conversely, when a woman cares for a man, she expresses it by offering helpful suggestions, acting as the home improvement committee. A man, however, often interprets this unsolicited advice as a message that he is broken and needs fixing, leading him to feel disrespected and silently protest. "Do you think I'm stupid?" This fundamental misunderstanding creates a cycle of resentment. She feels unheard because he is solving, not listening. He feels disrespected because she is improving, not trusting. The path forward is to recognize these instincts. She can signal she just needs an ear, and he can learn to listen with empathy, not a toolbox. This transforms conflict into connection. 3. Men go to their caves and women talk. A man's need to periodically retreat into his cave is as natural as a woman's need to talk when she feels her emotions sinking into the well. When a man is stressed, he often stops talking to focus inwardly on finding a solution. He instinctively withdraws into the silent, private space of his mind to process his thoughts alone. When he emerges, he feels better and is ready to reconnect. However, when he gives short, distant answers like, "Nothing is wrong," or "I'm fine," his partner often feels shut out, worried, or rejected. She may try to help by asking more questions or offering advice, unknowingly invading his cave and making him retreat further. Meanwhile, when a woman is in the well of her emotional wave, she climbs out by talking about her feelings in detail. She is not immediately seeking solutions, but connection and understanding. For her, sharing the journey of her emotions is the solution. The key is to respect these innate rhythms. She can trust that his retreat is temporary and not a rejection, and he can reassure her with a simple, kind word before withdrawing, ensuring she feels loved even in his silence. 4. How to motivate the opposite sex. You motivate your partner not by demanding change, but by learning to fulfill their primary love needs. A man is most motivated when he feels trusted, accepted, appreciated, admired, approved of, and encouraged. When you believe in him and his abilities without trying to improve him, he feels empowered to give his best. A woman is most motivated when she feels cared for, understood, respected, devoted to, validated, and reassured. When you listen to her feelings without judgment and acknowledge her efforts, she feels loved and inspired to reciprocate. This creates a powerful fulfillment cycle, where giving your partner what they truly need makes them naturally want to fulfill your needs in return. For a woman, this means motivating a man indirectly by expressing faith in him rather than offering unsolicited advice. For a man, it means motivating a woman directly by verbally appreciating her and validating her feelings. This approach is the ultimate scorecard strategy, where meeting these core emotional needs scores the most points and builds a reservoir of goodwill that motivates lasting love and cooperation. This cycle transforms the relationship from a power struggle into a supportive partnership where both individuals feel valued for who they are. 5. Speaking different languages. You and your partner are not just having misunderstandings, you are literally speaking different emotional languages. The same phrase can carry a completely different meaning and intention based on whether it is spoken by a man or a woman. This is why you need a phrase dictionary for translation. When a woman says, "I'm sorry," she often means, "I feel your pain and I empathize with you." When a man says, "I'm sorry," he typically means, "I apologize for my specific mistake." When a man says, "It's okay," he means the situation is acceptable and we do not need to discuss it further. When a woman says, "It's okay," she often means, "I am consciously choosing to be loving and not make an issue of this, even though my feelings are hurt." A classic misinterpretation occurs when a woman says, "I feel like you don't love me." She is expressing a temporary need for reassurance and connection. A man, however, hears this as a devastating, factual accusation and a final judgment on his entire ability as a partner, which makes him become defensive. The path forward is to become a loving translator, pausing to ask, what is the loving intention behind these words, instead of reacting to the literal statement. This practice prevents countless arguments and builds a bridge between your planetary languages. 6. Men are like rubber bands. A man's need for closeness and his need for independence operate in a natural rhythm, perfectly captured by the rubber band metaphor. Just as a rubber band must be stretched back before it can spring forward, a man must periodically pull away into his own space and autonomy before he can return to the relationship with more love, presence, and intimacy. This stretching away is not a sign that he has fallen out of love or that you have done something wrong. It is a necessary phase where he reconnects with his sense of self and personal power. When he is in this phase, he may become quiet, distant, or seem preoccupied. If you misinterpret this healthy cycle as rejection and try to pull him back by pursuing him, asking demanding questions, or punishing his silence, you only stretch the rubber band further, delaying his return. The most loving and effective thing you can do is trust the process. Give him the space he needs without taking it personally. When he has completed his cycle, he will naturally and inevitably spring back to you, his love and commitment refreshed and strengthened, ready for a deeper level of connection. 7. Women are like waves. A woman's emotional world moves in a natural, rhythmic cycle, much like a wave. Her feelings and sense of well-being rise to a peak, where she feels loving, grateful, and full of energy, and then they naturally fall into a trough, which is the well of her emotions. When she is in this well, she may feel sad, overwhelmed, or insecure. This is not a permanent state, but a necessary part of her emotional rhythm. To rise back up, she needs to climb out by talking about her feelings in a safe, supportive space. She needs to be heard and understood, not fixed. This process often involves bottoming out, where she must fully express her deepest worries and sorrows before she can release them and bounce back. If her partner, acting as Mr. Fix-It, tries to logically explain away her feelings or offer immediate solutions, he unintentionally invalidates her experience and blocks her healing process. His role is not to pull her out of the well, but to listen with empathy and hold a loving space, trusting that she has within her the power to rise again, more radiant and loving than before. 8. Discovering our different emotional needs. Lasting love blossoms when you learn to fulfill your partner's primary emotional needs, which are often different from your own. A woman's core needs are to feel cared for, understood, respected, devoted to, validated, and reassured. A man's core needs are to feel trusted, accepted, appreciated, admired, approved of, and encouraged. Imagine each of you has an emotional love tank. When you actively fill your partner's tank by providing what they uniquely need, they feel loved and fulfilled and are naturally motivated to reciprocate. This is the most effective way to score points in your relationship. A common mistake is to give the kind of love you wish to receive, which often misses the mark entirely. He may try to care for her by solving her problems. For him, it's showing trust in his competence, when what she truly needs is just to be heard and understood. For her, it's feeling cared for. She may try to show devotion by offering helpful advice, which is a form of caring from her perspective, when what he truly needs is to be trusted and appreciated without unsolicited improvement. By creating an emotional needs checklist and openly sharing your top needs, you create a practical roadmap. This allows you to stop guessing and start giving the specific love that fills your partner's tank, ensuring you both feel deeply and consistently loved. 9. How to avoid arguments. Arguments are rarely about the surface issue. They are a symptom of unmet emotional needs. To avoid them, you must learn to address the root cause, not the content of the fight. A powerful technique is to consciously trade places during a disagreement. Pause, step back, and each express what you believe the other person is feeling and what they truly need. This simple act builds instant empathy and de-escalates tension. For deeper issues, the love letter technique is transformative. Write a letter expressing your full spectrum of feelings, starting with anger and moving through sadness, fear, and regret, to finally arrive at love. This process safely releases your negative emotions and helps you reconnect with your underlying care for your partner. Understanding the dynamics that trigger arguments is also key. Men often withhold their feelings to avoid conflict, but this pent-up energy eventually explodes. Women may express upset to feel heard, but this can sound like criticism to a man, making him defensive. By using these tools and recognizing these patterns, you can stop the cycle before it starts, transforming potential arguments into opportunities for deeper understanding and connection. 10. Scoring points with the opposite sex. In relationships, men and women keep score in fundamentally different ways, and understanding this is the key to harmony. For a woman, love is demonstrated through a consistent series of small, thoughtful acts. Each gesture, like offering to help with a chore, giving a hug for no reason, listening without offering solutions, or leaving a loving note, scores 1 point. It is the daily accumulation of these 1-point gifts that makes her feel loved and secure. A man, however, often operates on a different scoring system. He believes that one large, dramatic gesture, like an expensive gift or a lavish vacation, should score 100 points and compensate for a lack of daily small acts. This is the root of Martian's scoring confusion, where he feels unappreciated after a grand gesture, and she still feels unloved because her daily need for small connections remains unmet. The magic lies in the little things. By learning your partner's planet-specific gift list and consistently providing those small, 1-point gestures, you fill their emotional bank account daily. This consistent effort scores more points than any single grand gesture ever could, creating a foundation of love that prevents resentment and keeps the relationship strong. 11. How to communicate difficult feelings. Communicating difficult feelings without starting a fight requires a deliberate and structured approach. The most powerful tool is the love letter technique, where you write a letter to your partner expressing 5 layers of emotion: anger, sadness, fear, regret, and finally, love. This process allows you to safely vent your initial frustration and then access the deeper, more vulnerable feelings underneath, ultimately reconnecting with your love. The key is to focus on the expression of your own feelings using "I feel" statements, rather than finger-pointing with accusatory, "you always" statements which only make your partner defensive. This can only work in an atmosphere of emotional safety, where both partners agree that sharing feelings is welcome and will not be used as ammunition later. Remember, the primary purpose of this exercise is writing for release, to take responsibility for your own emotions and cleanse your own emotional palate, not to demand that your partner change. For an even deeper understanding, you can write a response letter from your partner's perspective, which helps you see the situation through their eyes and builds profound empathy, turning a potential conflict into a moment of intimate connection. 12. How to ask for support and get it. Getting the support you need in a relationship depends entirely on how you ask. There is a right way and a wrong way. The wrong way is to ask passively or critically, like hinting, "the garbage is full," or demanding, "you never help me." This feels like nagging or a command to your partner, triggering instant resistance. The right way is to ask directly and lovingly. For a man, this means using a direct, bullet point ask. Be brief, specific, and avoid long emotional backstories. Instead of "the house is a mess and I'm exhausted from my terrible day," try "would you please help me load the dishwasher?" This respects his problem-solving nature and makes the action clear. Crucially, frame it as a request, not a command. A command creates resentment and makes him feel controlled, while a respectful request gives him the autonomy to choose to give, which he will gladly do when he feels respected and not criticized. A helpful guideline is the magic 3-minute rule, especially for conversations. Keep your initial request or sharing under 3 minutes. This respects a man's attention span and processing style, preventing him from feeling overwhelmed and making him much more likely to engage positively and provide the loving support you seek, thereby creating a cycle of willing generosity instead of stubborn resistance. 13. Keeping the magic of love alive. To sustain lasting love, you must understand that relationships move through natural seasons, just like nature. There is a spring of new beginnings and budding romance, a summer of deep connection and warm stability, a fall of necessary release and letting go of old patterns, and a winter of quiet introspection and consolidation. Each season has its unique purpose and challenges, and accepting this inherent cycle prevents panic and disillusionment during the inevitable harder times, allowing you to trust that a new spring will always follow. Within these evolving seasons, you must actively and consciously nurture your bond. Remember to regularly recharge your individual love batteries by taking quality time for yourselves, pursuing personal interests, and honoring your own needs, as a depleted and drained individual cannot possibly contribute to a vibrant, healthy relationship. Faithfully tend to your partner's emotional love tank with daily, small, planet-specific acts of love that speak their unique language, ensuring they feel consistently cherished. Create and cherish meaningful relationship rituals, whether it is a protected weekly date night, a quiet morning coffee together, or a special annual weekend adventure. These rituals become the sacred, predictable glue that holds you together through life's chaos and busyness. Most importantly, cultivate a constant, genuine appreciation practice. Regularly and specifically express gratitude for both the monumental and the mundane things your partner does and for who they inherently are. This consistent acknowledgement makes your partner feel profoundly seen, valued, and loved, transforming ordinary moments into magical connections and ensuring your love not only survives but continues to flourish through all of life's seasons. Thank you for listening to this audiobook. Your interaction matters, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.